Welcome to When Music Matters. I'm Kevin Hayes. Today, I'd like to talk about the topic of voicing. Back in 1976, I was wandering the campus of Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, and I wandered into their chapel, which is quite a big structure and pretty well known. And during that time, they were undertaking the process of installing the big Flintrop organ, more than 5,000 voicing pipes and who knows how many keyboards and pedals and things. At any rate, at the time I visited, they were doing what they referred to as voicing the organ, getting everything set so the intonation is right and the relative levels are right, and making it just this wonderful, even-handed platform for the musician to begin to play and manipulate. And that word, voicing, stuck with me. So when I began developing audio amplifiers and dealing with the way different parts and different circuits would sound, I referred to that process as voicing the amplifier. That term has gotten a lot more common usage today than when I started saying that 35 years ago. But it's an interesting topic, especially to, it's interesting to the designer, and the results are interesting to the audiophile and the music lover. So some of the elements that go into voicing an amplifier are pretty obvious and easy to understand. The circuit design, chassis materials, those kinds of things, physical layouts. Slightly more esoteric but critical are the grounding techniques used inside of the amplifier. But the most interesting to me and frustrating, and in some quarters controversial, is the sound of the individual parts that go in the amplifier, the resistors, the capacitors, and yes, dare I say it, the wire. You can get a standard metal film resistor from any number of companies. Dale Vichet makes them, Stackpole SEI makes them, Caddock makes them, and so on. They're all terrific resistors. And they all make an amplifier that measures great. And they all sound different, markedly different. So it's impossible just to say, this must be the best part theoretically, just use it. If you do, you're going to be leaving part of the sound quality behind that you could have achieved with the design. So part of what we do at VAC is to try to find the best combination of the parts, all of which measure great, but which play well together in that subjective musical sense. Your amplifier is a bit like a pot of stew on the stove. It's not just putting in the best grade of beef or the best tomato or whatever. It's putting in the ones that actually will marry together and give you that flavor and that satisfaction. The process of voicing an amplifier, which begins when it's measuring correctly on the test bench, can take anywhere from a week or two to, in some cases, 6 months before that design really has the sound that I would want to have in my own home and therefore want to make available to you. What's interesting is I read recently there's a designer in Europe who poo-pooed the entire idea of voicing. He just picks this cap, that resistor, and makes his amplifier. If that works for him, fine. I'm not going to say he's wrong, but it's not my experience. And I strongly advocate that a high-end designer who's really doing the best job will be paying attention to which capacitor at which point in the circuit, which wire at which point in the circuit. They all matter. On a side note, I've also noted that there's no one part that's right in every unit and in every part of the circuit. For example, capacitors, film capacitors that we use for audio coupling or for power supply bypassing. There's no one cap that's right for every job. They all sound different. And I sometimes wonder when I open or see a competitor's piece at a show and only has one brand of cap through, whether they really have gone the extra mile to listen to the possible permutations and what would be maybe a better sound than what they've chosen. The boutique parts are interesting. Every year there's some new capacitor that comes out or something else, some wire or what have you. And there are individuals out there who make their business modifying components, putting in the latest, greatest capacitor or jack and so on. And every year or so we get someone who pays us a large amount of money to return one of the VAC products to its original form after having paid some guru a large amount of money to modify it. You have to keep in mind, we've spent many, many, many person hours getting that VAC product to sound just so. and putting in some other part, even if it is in some theoretical sense a better part, may ruin that balance of sound. That's all for today. Again, these When Music Matter programs are meant to be 3 to 5 minutes long, something you can watch easily and then go on about your life or go to the next one as you wish. I invite you, please, to send us topics you might want to see us cover on What Music Matters. Write to us at info@vac-amps.com. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.